as you know, Susie does the official Lakers podcast with Aaron Larsoul. She had Chris Webber, who called that game. He called the Dwayne Wade LeBron farewell. And this was an interesting comment that was made aware to me by one of the co-hosts of the program. Because it just posted. I don't think it's posted yet. This is fresh stuff. Ooh. It's always great, by the way, when my wife sends me clips from the show saying, "Here's, if you're interested, you can use it. If not, I'll give it to Colin." And it's great. I don't know if she's aware. Her phone autocorrects that name as Colin, and that is, by the way, not a setting. But at any rate, but this is an interesting. Listen to what Chris Webber has to say about LeBron James. And I'd love to know, Chris Brockman, your thoughts on this subject once we're on the other side, as they say. Okay. Go for it. You got it there, Mike Del? Oh, Mike Del Tufo.
Oh, no. Where's Murph?
We set it up, Mike. You got it or not?
LeBron is going to be the all-time leading scorer when this is over. And LeBron, at the end of the day, is going to be in my top 5 of everything. And it's crazy because everybody used to criticize LeBron for passing the ball. And I've always said that he was a mixture between Jordan and Magic because he passed like Magic with the athletic ability of Jordan. And I think he's, in my opinion, he's the greatest team sports player that we've ever witnessed. He's the greatest team sports athlete in any sport ever, in my opinion. He makes everybody that he plays with better. He's better than any pitcher ever made their team. He's better than any quarterback that's ever made their team. He's better than any athlete that's participated in team sports.
There you go. On the official Lakers podcast with Susie Schuster and Aaron Larsoul on Podcast One. Everybody go out and subscribe.
I mean, great. And I mean, C-Web's awesome. But with all due respect.
Yes.
2 names immediately jump to mind.
Yes.
Tom Brady, which is the hardest team sport. The NFL is the hardest team sport. And he has made everyone around him a lot of money and a lot of accolades.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky immediately comes to mind, the greatest hockey player of all time. His assist record will never be broken in the NHL as long as there's the NHL.
Those are 2 names leaping to mind right there.
Immediately.
But what if LeBron is...
If you reverse the numbers on LeBron's current Lakers jersey,
yes,
32 for Los Angeles kind of made all of his teammates better. We wouldn't know Byron Scott, James Worthy, Michael Thompson, we wouldn't even know Kurt Rambis's name if it wasn't for Magic.
But what if LeBron is the all-time leading scorer and winds up top 5 in assists too? I mean... where he has more points than Kareem and more assists than every other human being that's laced him up with the exception of 4. Or he is in the top 5 or he's number 3. And
does he win another ring? Because if he doesn't, he'll have fewer rings than maybe the all-time greatest ball hog of all time, Kobe Bryant. So you can't be the greatest team sport and make all your teammates better if you have less rings than the guy who was a black hole.
See, now this is amazing to me too in this conversation. By the way, 844-204-RICH number to dial if you have 2 cents on whether you think LeBron is the greatest team athlete of all time, or you have others that just leap to mind, like Chris Brockman, because you can't wrap your arms around the idea that LeBron James is the greatest team player in sports history, the greatest player in team sports history.
Bill Russell has 11 rings.
No, you're making a good case. I understand. But it just, to me, this also casts a light on how everybody reads something into LeBron and it can be completely opposite of the other. What do I mean by that? Last week, at this very time, the whole conversation about LeBron was... nobody wants to play with him.
Right.
Because he takes up too much of the oxygen on the team sport. And the fact is that if nobody wants to come play with him, nobody on his team is going to be the one to suddenly have a great leap in advance in their personal playing ability to be the Robin there. Kuzma, Hart, Ball, Ingram, because LeBron always has to have the ball in his hands, they're not going to have the ability to have I keep making this analogy. I'll keep doing it. The Oladipo type leap. Chris Mannix here this week said, well, Oladipo had to go be his own man in Indianapolis in order to have that leap. So that was the conversation about LeBron. And now here's Chris Webber, who knows a thing or two about being a player in a team sport, from the Fab Five all the way to what he has done. And the numbers don't lie, man. How many times has LeBron given an opportunity to a teammate with crunch time? That was the biggest knock against him until he won a championship. When he got his 30,000th point, we put out a tweet with the emojis, the fire emojis, to let everybody know it was our hot take. We were just joking. He would have had 30,000 points years ago if he didn't always pass up the final shot.
Yeah, but you can't be the greatest team athlete ever if you have to join a super team to win a championship.
Why?
How are you making
Because that's a team
Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh Hall of Fame players better?
Excuse me. If I'm not mistaken, Shane Battier played a very crucial role as well. Yay or nay?
Guys hate playing with LeBron so much.
Why?
They demanded a trade.
I don't know.
How does that make you the greatest team player when nobody wants to play with you?
You're such a negative Nelly. I don't know.
All right. Well.
I mean, again, C-Web has an interesting point. He's going to have more points than Kareem. And he's going to do it in a Laker uniform, by the way, which is why they're playing all these videos about, hey, you and Dwayne Wade, let's go down memory lane, even though that has no connection to the Lakers franchise.
Great. Then I look forward to the LeBron's eventual statue outside of Staples being him executing a perfect chest pass.
It's an interesting question, isn't it? C-Web is just given some. We'll ask this to Baron Davis.
I can't wait for BD's response.
Of course, the phone lines are lighting up right now. This has to do with LeBron. Like I said, here's one everyone said no one wants to play with. Oh, he's the greatest team sport guy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.